Hello and welcome back. Till today, we have executed our code in our local environment. Today, we will see how Spark execute code on cluster. We will see what are the different resource cluster managers available, and we will see what is the deployment mode available for Spark. We will also see some of the Spark properties or configs which are available for cluster management. But before we run our code, let's understand how Spark works on a cluster environment. Now, to understand how Spark works in a cluster environment, let's understand with this example. Consider we have a driver program marked in yellow and we have a resource manager which is marked in blue. Again, we have a cluster which is having two worker nodes, node 1 and node 2. Now, what happens when we submit a program? So we know Spark session is the entry for our Spark program, right? So whenever we submit a program or an application, the Spark session connects with the resource manager first. It asks the resource manager for the required resources. Consider you have requested 4 executors with 2 cores each. So total we will have 8 cores, right? Now the resource manager will contact with its cluster. It will create the required executors. So for each worker node, it created 2 executors. And for each executor, it created 2 cores. So once this resource is allocated on both the worker nodes, resource manager will get back to Spark with the required information. Once this information is supplied to the driver program will start connecting with the executors to execute the code. So first it will copy the Python program to all of the executors. So this Python program will now be available for all of the executors. Once this Python program is available with the executors, now this Spark session will instruct the tasks that it need to perform. So all the cores will now have their tasks that they need to perform in order to process the data. And once this processing is done, executors will report back to the driver program with the required result. Now, based on the status, whether the program has success or failure, driver program will now communicate again with the resource manager to shut down the required allocated resources. Once the resource manager gets all the information, it will scrap off all the executors it has created for that application. And this is how generally a Spark program works. Now, we know this resource manager is something which is responsible for allocating the resources to the driver program or the Spark session, right? So it plays a major role. So resource manager is also known as cluster manager. So there are majorly 4 type of cluster managers available. The first one is standalone, which is basically a Spark cluster. The second one is Yarn, which is basically a Hadoop cluster where Yarn is the resource manager. The third one is Apache Mesos, which is now deprecated, so it is no longer available. And the fourth one is Kubernetes. This is for the containerized environment. So these are the 4 types of resource manager that are available. Now, whatever I explained right now was the client mode of execution. So there are 2 deployment modes. Whatever I explained right now was the client mode in which our driver program is sitting into the client machine. Now, there is one more mode available, which is called the cluster mode. Now, in case of deployment mode where it is clustered, this whole driver program will also sit inside the cluster in an executor. So Spark session will sit inside the node into an executor. So in this case, resource manager will create one more executor in which this particular program will sit, and it will communicate with the executors and the tasks on the same executor itself. In this case, you can see the only responsibility for the client is to submit the program. Once the program is submitted, everything is on the cluster. Once the execution is done, the cluster manager will communicate with the driver program sitting on the cluster, and it will terminate the cluster accordingly. Now, there is one point to note. The executors that the resource manager is creating is nothing but JVM process. So these are some Java virtual machine processes that the resource manager create within which the tasks are executed, what is supplied by the Spark session. I know for the first time it might sound confusing, but don't worry, we will look into this with a live example. I am in my Jupyter Lab environment. Now, I have my Spark cluster up and running. This is a standalone Spark cluster, which has 2 worker nodes. You can see the information of the worker nodes here. This is worker 1 and this is the worker 2. Both the workers have 8 cores each, and the total memory for the worker node is 6.7 GB each. Now, till today, we were running our programs in local. Today, we will execute this in our standalone cluster. To do that, we have to change our master to the Spark master, which is running at 7077 port. So I'll copy this and I'll paste this here. So our master is now Spark, and this is the location where the Spark master is running, and this is the port. So if I execute this now, okay, my Spark UI is ready. Let me go and refresh it. Let me go to the executors tab. In the executors tab, if I scroll down, now you can see it has two executors running, 0 and 1. Okay, and each one is having 8 cores. So if we go back to our Spark master and refresh our tab, we can see one application running, and the name of the application is cluster execution, which is the same app name that we provided within our Spark session. So we go back and expand the application. We see we have two executors, each one generated in each worker. So our first executor ID is running in the first worker, and the second one is running in the second worker. And each executor has 1024 MB memory and 8 cores each. This is the default setting that Spark provides. We have this whole configuration listed in the Spark documentation. If I search for executor memory here, you can see it is 1 gig, which is 1024 MB. So can we change the value for this particular configuration? The answer is yes. Before we do that, let's write a sample data frame, which will only write 10 values, and we will write it as a form of CSV in data output 15 to as range.csv. Let's run this cell. Okay, our data is ready. We can see the second folder and range.csv in which we have multiple files here. Let's go back to our Spark UI and refresh our job tab. Okay, the save command has run with 16 tasks. It implies that the data that we had 16 partitions. If we expand this and if we scroll down to the stage and expand this, we go into the task, we can see all the 16 tasks executed in parallel. So this particular task has executed on the cluster. Now, we have only two executors, each one of them running in each worker node, right? Let's create two executors, each in one worker with 4 cores and a different memory size, say 512 MB. To do that, I'll go back to my Spark application and I'll add to Spark config. I'll add dot config and I'll write Spark dot executor dot instances. I'll put it as 4 because we need 4 executors. Now again, I'll put it as config. All right, spark dot executor dot cores. I'll put it as 4. It implies each executor will have 4 cores. Now I'll put the memory setting as well. So I'll write config spark dot executor dot memory. I'll mention it as 512 MB. Let me stop the Spark session first. So I'll stop the Spark session. Once I do that, I go back to this application. And if I refresh this, this comes into the completed application because we stopped the Spark session. Let's rerun our Spark session. So I'll rerun this. Our Spark session is created. Let's go back and refresh this. Awesome. You see a new application is created. This time it has 16 cores and 512 MB per executor. If I expand this, you see we have 4 executors, which is what we requested, and each executor had 4 cores and 512 MB of memory. So this is how we can also change the configuration. Now if we run the application will run in 4 executors with each having 4 cores. So let me run this again. So I'll run this, and this time I'll write it to say location 3. I'll run this. Let me go back to the Spark UI. I'll go to the jobs tab. I'll open the save. This is again 16 tasks because 4 executor, which 4 tasks each. So I'll expand this. You see, now we have 0, 1, 2, and 3. 4 executors having 4 tasks each, and all of them are running in parallel. You can see the executor IDs mentioned here. We can also go to the executor tab to see the same. You can see we have 4 executor IDs other than our driver program, which is running in our local. We have 4 cores each, and we have 93 MB storage memory. We will discuss about this memory setting later when we discuss the Spark advanced topic. Now, this whole execution is happening in client mode. The reason is this whole Spark session is sitting in our local machine, which is the driver is there in the local machine. You can see the driver is not on the worker nodes because this is a different location which is on our local machine where the driver is sitting. So this execution is happening in client mode right now. Now, whatever configuration I just put into the Spark session was just to show you how Spark behaves when we execute a program in the cluster setting. But this is not the way how we submit a Spark program to a cluster. The best way to submit a program to a Spark cluster is using the Spark submit. That is a command that is available with Spark that is used to execute your code on cluster machines. So to demonstrate that, I've just created a Python file where I have removed the master because we will provide that runtime configuration using the Spark submit command. I've just made the application name. I've just put the data frame commands that we are going to run. This is just a sample demonstration how Spark submit works. Now, to run the Spark submit command, I am inside the Spark installation folder, which is /spark in my case. For your case, it might be different. So be very sure where the Spark is installed. Now, we can find the Spark submit command in bin sparks submit. Now, before we can push our program to this Spark submit, we can define the informations that we need. The first one will be the master. In our case, this will be the Spark cluster. So I'll again go back to the Spark cluster, copy the Spark master location. I'll put it as master. Now, there are runtime configurations that we need to supply to get the number of executors and cores. So to get a number of executors, I'll write num executors. I'll run with, say, 3 executors. And this time I'll use each executor with 2 cores. So I'll write executor cores and that will be 2. To set the memory, we can write executor memory 512 MB. And now I'll provide the Python file which I need to execute. So I'll write /home/Jupyter PySpark 020 and my file which is 12 understand cluster.py. Now I'll just press enter to execute this. Awesome. Our application execution just completed. So you understand how we can use the Spark submit now to submit our job to the cluster. And this is how the jobs are submitted in production environment in Spark clusters. I hope you have understood how Spark executes job in cluster today. This was just a sample demonstration. Going forward, we will launch a lot of jobs in the cluster and will understand how to optimize those jobs. Feel free to share what you like about my content. If you want to advise something, please put that down in the comments. In our upcoming videos, we'll learn a lot about Spark configs and the environment properties that are available with Spark. Till then, keep learning, keep growing, keep sharing.